If we could start, Lucretia, with you just sharing a little bit about your children.
Okay, well, I have two children. I have a son that's 35, and I also have a 7-year-old.
Great.
I think I started smoking, because it was the cool thing to do.
When you were a teenager?
Yes. I mean, not when I was a teenager, when I was older. I don't know, I just, other people were smoking, and I just decided that I was going to smoke because I was an adult. Because at that time, adults smoked.
Right, yeah.
And
if the group you're hanging out with
yeah,
thinks it's cool,
yes.
then it's very easy to go along with the group.
Yes, it really is.
Now, your other child is 7 years old.
Yes, he's 7.
He's 7. And how old was he when you gave up smoking?
My 7-year-old? Oh, I wasn't smoking at all.
Oh, okay, so you gave it up before he was born.
Yes, before he was born.
Great.
So he never has been exposed to smoking by anyone because we don't have any family members that smoke.
Have you ever told him that you used to smoke, but you gave it up because it was such a lousy habit and so bad for you?
No, I haven't. I guess it just really hasn't come up. Not that I wouldn't. I would share with him because I think it's important for him to know.
Well, especially since you gave it up. It takes a lot of courage to give up smoking, and as you know, a lot of willpower sticking to it. And it could be something that could be helpful for your child to know that even that was a terribly hard thing to quit, you felt strongly enough about not smoking that you gave it up.
Yes. He's the only time that he's really been exposed is when like if we go to a restaurant and part of the restaurant has smoking. And we try not to go to those places, but the laws here are a little different. But
how would you feel about him smoking as a teenager?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
You seem pretty committed to him not smoking. And are there things that you can think about doing now that might help him make the decision not to smoke later?
Yes. I've talked to him a little bit about different ways if someone approaches him about smoking, that he could kind of make a joke of it and say, oh, you got to be kidding. You want me to smell like an ashtray?
Yeah.
Or changing the subject, or saying, well, why don't we go over here and play video games? Or why don't we go over here and play ball? So I've kind of talked to him a little bit about if someone approaches him about smoking, how to say no.
That's what we call refusal skills, and that's really important for parents to teach their kids how to say no in a way that saves face.
Yes.
You don't want to say no and look foolish, so we need to work with kids to help them learn to say no in a way that feels comfortable to them and still feels cool.
Yes.
And you sound like you're doing that already, so that's a
Yes.
good job. But even before that, it sounds like you've made the point to him that you don't want him to smoke.
Oh, no.
Yeah, how did you say that to him? How does he know that you don't want him to smoke?
Well, we've been in other environments, like watching television. So whenever I get an opportunity to talk to him about smoking, sometimes there's, which I try not to do, let him watch too much television, because a lot of the TV programs, they make smoking look like it's cool, and it's not. And so I want him to know that when we do see something that is inappropriate, I talked to him about it. I said, oh man, that's a terrible thing to do. They're making it look like it's a great thing, but actually it's not.
Right.
Because, he's asked. He said, what are they doing? Because he hasn't really been around people that smoke. And he's, when we go to the park, sometimes there are people there smoking, and they'll throw the cigarette on the ground, and he'll go, Mom, what's that? I said, that's a cigarette. You don't want to smoke. I said, we've talked about that.
One of the things that you've done that is real helpful with your son is looking for opportunities in the media to segue into talking about not smoking. You said sometimes you watch TV shows with him, and if you see someone smoking, you'll talk about how, how foolish that was for him to be doing that. Does he know what he's doing to his body? That's ridiculous. You can also communicate to kids indirectly. You don't even have to talk to your son about it. If he sees you going, why would he do that? And just almost talking to the screen, just so he'll know how strongly you feel about not smoking. There's some real good research now that shows that when kids know their parents would be upset with them if they smoked, that by itself helps reduce the chances of them smoking by half.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, so
That's
for
great.
and you've already done that. He already knows you feel strongly about it, and the more strongly he knows you feel about it, the better. But giving him good reasons too is important also.
Yes, I agree. I know one of the things that one of my girlfriends told me one time that really stuck with me. She said, your kids always need to know what you expect. Because if they know what you expect, then they'll try to live up to your expectations. So that really applies to smoking too. You know, they'll think about it when someone comes and approaches them, or
That's
they're
true
in a
up to a
situation.
point. And that point is if you have a good relationship with them.
Oh, I
As
see.
long as you have a good relationship with your son, then your expectations will matter a lot to him. When parents get out of sync with their kids, when they get into power struggles, when there's a lot of fighting and conflict, then their kids start thinking, well, she's just trying to run my life. She doesn't want me to smoke? Well, that's one more thing I can do to get her.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got to work on the overall parenting relationship also. You can't just work on not smoking. You have to also work on the discipline and the communication and the encouragement and building up that relationship in a positive way so your ability to influence your child is maximized instead of just giving them something to rebel against.